Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies here at RacineSportsZone.com. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer, co-host of the Wendy's Big Show weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on 105.7 FM, The Fan in Milwaukee, AM 1250 as well. Other side of the table, Gery Woelfel, columnist here at the Racine Journal-Times. In the middle, you know who they are. I shouldn't have to introduce them, stars of Racine, but I will anyhow. Racine Park, Kaj and Nobal Days. Guys, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having us.
So why are you wearing a tie?
He's just a classy guy, right?
I look nice. I'm a classy person.
Trying to audition for a modeling job or something? What's going on?
Why not? Why not?
Right.
Why not?
Okay, so first I want to start off just a little bit, because obviously I'm a short dude, so I don't get the whole tall thing. I mean, were you guys always tall, like all the way through? Because you hear so many stories from different people of, yeah, I was short and I had this huge growth spurt one summer. Were you guys tall from the get?
Yeah, always. I mean, I remember my first day of kindergarten, I was heads over the students. So, and then I remember when Nobal came to my grade school and he was out on the playground. I mean, I was like, dang, I guess that's how I was looking when I was in kindergarten. But yeah, we've always been tall, heads over everybody else. So
did you get a lot of teasing, a lot of razzling when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, always.
What's the one thing I talked to, like Jim McElvain, for instance? He was a 7-footer. I talked to other guys.
Yeah.
It's like, how's the air up there and all that stuff. What do you remember anything a kid said to you that really kind of like took you aback? And
probably the main thing is always not being able to play the games especially when in like kindergarten. You always can't fit into the small areas. I know you're not going to be able to fit in there, Noble. So,
oh man,
there you go. Yeah. So after a while, you just ignore it. I mean, is it? I would imagine when you get to high school, it's old stuff.
Eventually, it's been funny, like especially when you're like wearing like the adult costumes.
Yeah.
When you're like in second grade. So it's always fun and games usually when we were younger.
Yeah,
that's good. So what about sports-wise then? I mean, when did you guys determine you wanted to play sports, and was there an influence of getting you into sports?
Well, yeah, our parents threw us into sports pretty early. I mean, I remember me and my brother go back to basketball in the YMCA.
Okay.
So we would play that. Be at practice going 2 days a week, I believe it was, and every weekend we have a game, and then we transitioned over to AAU, both playing for Playground Elite.
Sure. And
then we just ran with that and kept going with that, and then transitioned over. Nobal went his way to Butler Elite, and I stayed on my track with Playground, and it went well.
So was it always basketball, or were you guys football, baseball, or anything else?
We tried just about everything.
You did?
I mean, we did soccer,
baseball, football. It's always basketball, baseball, or basketball and soccer. Basketball.
So you were always doing dual sports.
Yeah.
Now, see, soccer, from what I understand from other players, I mean, guys that played soccer said it actually helped them become better basketball players because of the footwork.
Mm-hmm.
Did that apply to you guys?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember. I'll speak for Nobal too, because our footwork was not the greatest. And I mean, constantly we were running down the court, tripping over our own feet because we were so long. But I mean, soccer really helped us out. And then, I mean, baseball helped us out with our hand-eye coordination. And I mean, football helped him get a little bit tougher.
Oh, now that's spoken like a big brother right there.
No, but
does he say you're not tough enough at times, or what?
But yeah, our parents really wanted us to be all-around athletes.
Sure.
So that's what they did. Is just threw us into everything, and whatever we loved, we just stuck with.
So what's your first love then? What sport is your first love?
Basketball.
Basketball for sure. Because I mean, it's funny because you talk to guys in the NBA, and it's not always that. Yeah. I mean, you always hear different things. I remember Bob Mute, when he was with the Bucks, soccer was his first love. But he said, because I'm so tall, I ended up playing basketball. And that's kind of how it went.
And if you were Larry Sanders, basketball was, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Larry Sanders out of this.
Just kidding. But no, it's true, and I think it makes a difference. If you have a passion for something, you're going to be better at it. Mm-hmm. If you're in there just for the wrong reasons, more often than not, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
most definitely.
How's the high school experience been for you, man? I mean, you're about done now with the whole high school thing. And old people will always tell you, man, treasure those high school years. You'll always remember them.
Sure. I mean,
well, you're about done now, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's been pretty good. We had a tough basketball season the first 3 years that I played, but I mean, I can say every year I've grown as a player, and every year our team has grown as a whole. I mean, and the whole high school experience has just been really, really something special to remember. I mean, everything wasn't all sunshiny in the beginning, but I mean, it grew to be something really amazing that I could really look back and say,
Steve, they were talking about his rough years, first 3 years at Park. Things didn't go well. Mm-hmm. A couple weeks ago, they played Horlick High School at Horlick. And there was, a minute left in the game, and Kai got a rebound, and he looked for an outlet. Nobody was there. Took a couple dribbles, still didn't see anybody. Next thing you know, he's barreling down the court. He threw down this one-hand slam. That was just incredible. Yeah. And Nobal had the quote of the year. Oh. Do you remember what you said?
4 years of anger.
4 years of anger.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful quote and a beautiful thing to watch. Have you ever thrown down a dunk like that?
Not that angry, no. I mean, I was going down the court. There was 3 people around me, and I saw a glimpse of the rim. So I was like, you know what? I'm taking this one home. I have to.
I already knew what he was going to try to do after right after he passed half court. I could tell how he was dribbling that he was
going to the hole.
Yeah. They actually kind of joked with us because also Nobal had a lob dunk at the end of the Case game to kind of seal that away also.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
Our parents kind of joke with us saying that we have a little dunking rivalry.
Dunk contest. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. So who has the most dunks so far this year?
I do, but I mean, Nobal's not too far behind. I think
he might. You're contesting this already.
He has the most putbacks, though.
Okay. He's you know what? The thing I like about your team and you guys in particular, you guys pretty much own the glass. I mean, an opponent puts up a shot, one of you two are going to get the rebound. And then secondly, what I like, you guys are very good outlet passers, and Nobal for a freshman, I think you're an exceptional outlet passer. Where did you pick that up, that little aspect of, hey, grab the ball, turn around, get it going?
Probably since that I've always liked to pass, and I'm always thinking like, well, if there's somebody guarding me, would I rather take the 50% shot or give it to somebody else and have them take the 80% shot? So it's always like, if they're going to score easier than I can, I might as well give it to them. So easy buckets win the game.
Sounds like you're ready to coach in the NBA. Some guys don't agree with you on that at all. But that's good, though. I mean, I like to hear that. But talk about it from that perspective, because what you just said there is a very unselfish player. And we talk about Bucks postgame shows that I do that Jabari Parker is a very unselfish player and needs to become a little bit more selfish to get his offense going at times. Do you guys find yourself fighting that a little bit, going, man, my team really needs me, but if I take these many shots, my guys can get mad at me, because I'm kind of taking over too much?
That's what my coaches always say, like, no, but you have to get more selfish. Like, when I think of it, I'm like, more selfish? How do you do that? So it's like I think I'm shooting like the right shots and always trying to, if I can score, try to go to the basket, but I'm always thinking of being a team player, just trying to get everybody involved.
We've also been pretty good at letting the game come to us. I mean, our park team is really deep. There's not just Kai and Nobal on the team. There's Marcus Carwell. There's Rance. There's Money. Who's
Money?
Demonte.
Okay, it's Money.
So we're really deep. So there's no doubt that we don't have any trust in our team. But I mean, sometimes when somebody's not making the play, we need somebody else to step up. And when somebody else steps up, then that we just go with that. So I mean, there's been a couple of times where Nobal had to step up and get a couple blocks and put the ball in hoop a couple of times. There's been a couple moments where I had to go ahead and demand the ball in the post, like, hey, just give it here and let me go to work.
Something else came up in my mind that I want to ask you both. Because everybody kind of gets on AAU basketball. A lot of guys in the NBA especially, and knock AAU and say, it's not growing the kids, the skills, and everything else that need to be done in the summertime. And then you look at college coaches. A lot of those college coaches, when they recruit, I mean, you guys probably know this already, they're going to talk to those AAU coaches. And they'll talk to your high school coach, but those AAU coaches seem to be more involved. What's the difference from your two standpoint as far as your high school season versus what it's like to play in the summertime?
You can go first.
Well, okay.
You're saving the best till last.
Well, I mean, going from high school to AAU will really open your eyes because you're with a whole new breed of kids. I mean, you might be playing in your high school and playing against kids that are maybe 6'5" at the tallest, excluding us, and then you go to an AAU team and you're going against, well, I'll be 18, so you're going against an 18-year-old who's like 7'2", and he can dribble the ball, shoot the ball, and he's not afraid to drive to the basket. So, I mean, it really opens up your eyes to what's really out there instead of just playing in high school. Like, yeah, my AAU coach, Coach Money, says, yeah, you can be the man in high school, but when you go out onto the AAU circuit and see all the talented players that are out there, it really opens your eyes on how many people are better than you and how much harder you need to work. So it's really an eye-opener.
Sure.
The main thing for me is like the size difference is like with big men out in the league, even for like my age group, there's 7-footers running around and people that are always like, oh, you're 6'8". I'm like, well, even when people say, oh, you're pretty tall, I'm like, well, I know people that are my height and a bunch of people that are taller. So I play against people, especially AAU, bunch of people that are taller, stronger, have everything. There's things that people have quicker, all types of things.
When you get done your high school season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And coach comes to you and says, hey, man, I want you to work on A, B, and C this summer, whatever the case may be. And then you get to the summer team, and you're with that coach. Does sometimes those two objectives kind of not work together sometimes?
Oh, no. I mean, you're constantly working on your game. And that's from one side of your game to the whole other side. I mean, we work on everything. There's not really just a role that we need to categorize ourselves in because, I mean, who knows what can happen. We might stop growing here. He might stop growing, and he might only be able to play the 3 or the 4. So he'll need to learn how to dribble and shoot, and also play the post. And, I mean, it's one thing that our coaches really stress to us is not being a 2D player, and it's actually being a 3-dimensional player and having your whole game speak for itself. So
you know, Kai, you were talking before about eye openers playing at the AAU. The eye opener for me about you was a couple of years ago. Somebody told me you took a class in Chinese.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Chinese.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Now that isn't your typical high school class.
Yeah. Well,
tell us about that.
I mean, I fell in love with that and ran with it just because. I mean, I was sick of taking Spanish, and it really didn't seem to click with me, so I wanted to try something different.
Sure there's not a girl involved?
No, I promise.
Are you sure?
I promise.
Okay.
I mean, other than the lady that may be working at the Asia Buffet. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, I wanted to go into international business.
Yeah.
I fell in love with business. So
International business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to major in my business and minor in my international affairs. So, I mean, that's just one thing that really stuck with me. So
I got to tell you a quick story. Do you remember when the Bucks drafted a guy named Jian Lian?
Yep.
He came from China, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought I'd try to get a heads up on my fellow reporters, and I took a crash course in Cantonese. Okay, so for 2 to 3 weeks, that's all I'm doing for 24 hours a day speaking Cantonese, right? Mm-hmm. So he comes to training camp, started talking through a few words at him, and he acknowledged him. Mm-hmm. Going into like mid-season, he had an interpreter with him, and I said to him, we're really not connecting on this Cantonese stuff. I think I'm pronouncing all the words right. And he goes, Cantonese? He speaks Mandarin. You got the wrong language. It's like, oh, that was fun. But it was a good exercise.
Hey,
it was fun.
At least you know another language now.
Yeah, there you go. You're right. I'm still trying to master the English language.
Guys, hey, man, thanks a lot for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot. Good seeing you guys.
Kai at Nobal Days from Racine Park joining us here, and tell your friends, because they're really good. Check them out at Racine Park. Check us out on the next Sports Junkies here at RacineSportsZone.com.